please just give us few seconds.
Yeah. No. Take your time. I think he is
Yeah,
on mute, I believe.
yeah. No, we are just beginning with.
Okay.
A very, a very good afternoon to all. Dear participants, we'll now begin with our second session. It gives me the immense pleasure to introduce our another eminent speaker, Mr. Sachin Ogle sir. Mr. Sachin sir is currently working as DGM in the Department of Quality Assurance Quality Management System at Viatris Milan, Nashik. Sir is handling QMS and Operation QA in OSD Liquid along with individual responsibilities related to process validation, continued process verification, annual product review, cleaning validation, CAPA management, quality risk management, out of trend establishment, audit compliance and management, and also prepared and handled the audits of the regulatory authorities, namely USFDA, MHRA, PMDA, WHO, EMA, and HPRA. Sir has completed his post-graduation in the specialization of pharmaceutical chemistry from the Mangalore Rajiv Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, Bangalore, and has completed his B.Pharm from okay, B.Pharm from SRTM University, Nanded. Sir has extensive experience in pharmaceutical industries. Sir had worked as officer at the Cipla Limited, Goa, also worked as a senior officer in IPQA in charge at Lupin Limited, Goa. Further, Sir has worked as a senior executive of IPQA in charge at the Sandoz Private Limited, Navi Mumbai. Also, Sir had worked at Johnson & Johnson Mumbai as a manager responsible for clinical plant. Also, Sir has worked as a senior manager head QA for OSD liquid and ointments at the Vocald Limited, Aurangabad. With this brief introduction, on behalf of Bharati Vidyapit College of Pharmacy, Kolhapur, we once again welcome you, sir. Now, I kindly request Mr. Sachin Ogle, sir, to proceed with his session on quality management system, product lifecycle management.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thanks for my introduction to the team. And again, good afternoon to everybody. So let us have miss our discussion what we are going to have today.
Yes.
So whether my screen is visible?
Yes, sir. It's visible now.
Yeah, 1 minute. Give me time. Yeah. So is it visible?
Clearly. Yes, yes. Clearly visible, sir.
Yeah. So from like 2 3 days, you can say this. Sessions are going on different days, and the team and the students or the faculty members might have gone through the different systems like quality management system. Yesterday Dr. Wakuri might have told about the QBD, how the process happens. Today morning I think Mr. Jamble, he has given brief about what quality management systems we are having in pharmaceutical industry to control the drug product is being safely produced with the required quality and reaches to the patient, or you can say ultimate hero is nothing but the customer. So throughout the life cycle management, the importance of pharmaceutical quality system plays an important role to assure that the safe drug is being manufactured, it is being produced of consistent quality, and the desired quality has been achieved through this throughout the life cycle of management of, you can say, products, how it is moving from you can say development, then it's technology transfer, and then you can say commercial manufacturing, and the ultimate phase comes as a product discontinuation. So what benefits we are getting from the life cycle management, or you can say PQS system throughout this life cycle management is nothing but it will benefit in all aspects to all people. It may be industry, it is regulators and the patients. Okay, so industry with you can say establishing a robust, you can say, pharmaceutical quality system, definitely a consistent and robust product will be manufactured. Okay, the regulators, ultimate aim of the regulatory authority is that the product which is reaching to the people of their country should be of safe quality, or you can say of to the utmost quality which is expected from the manufacturer. By having this system, if the manufacturer implement these pharmaceutical quality systems, then a desired product quality drug product can be manufactured and it reaches to the people of the country to which the regulators are representing. For example, USFDA, or you can say MHRA, which belongs to UK, or HPRA, which is nothing but a Ireland country. So they get, or they give the assurance to the people of their country that by having a manufacturer of pharmaceutical quality system in their, you can say, industry or the site, the desired product is manufactured which is safe to consume a product. Hence, ultimately, the patients are being benefited. How these are benefited? By with the help of nothing but the pharmaceutical quality system. If you look at this pharma industry, how it is being evaluated throughout the year, or what is the share of this pharmaceutical industry in the called so-called economy of the world, or you can say globe. So if you look at roughly 50, you can say $1 trillion, which is a huge number. This is nothing but you can say economy of the world, and among that, the topmost is nothing but the bank and finance, which constitutes nearly about you can say 37%. Okay, so if you see at this, I will highlight this one. So this is nothing but the first you can say sector which constitutes maximum share in the market value. Okay, then second comes e-commerce or internet, and third nothing but the pharmaceuticals. This is very important. Even though 11% of the constitute of the total, you can say, market value is there, but we are at third position, which we are dealing with the pharmaceutical products, which constitutes 11% of you call overall market value in a globe, which is approximately $50 trillion, which is huge. So that's why the importance of this industry in the globe is you can say is being looked at by the different regulators, that whatever product is being manufactured, it is of that desired quality, it is being reached to the ultimate patient, has to be of that quality. And for to have this desired, you can say, quality, the different quality systems are being implemented, and that has to be implemented, you can say, at different phases of you can say product movement, that is from product development till its discontinuation. Okay, if you look at this in value wise, so pharmaceutical industry stands 5.65, you can say, $1 trillion. Okay, we have seen in terms of its market value overall in percentage. Now, if you look at in the value constitutes, the bank is 18% or $18.5 trillion, and the pharmaceutical industry constitutes $5.65. So it is a huge. It is as good as you can say economy, or you can say value of American finance or economy. It is equivalent to that one. That's why the pharmaceutical industry is being treated with utmost care, because it is dealing with the life of a patient. So if anything goes wrong, definitely it is going to have impact on patient, and it may lead you to fatal, you can say, casualties or serious effect on patient's health. That's why this is the industry which has to be served with the religious cause, with the noble cause. Okay, earlier if you see, if the comparison, if you look at this you can say presentation or slide comparison 2003 to the last year 2020. So earlier what was there, a big pharma called Pfizer, or you can see, you may be knowing about the Ranbaxy and all Cipla and this one, they constitutes major role in developing a drug, and that was catered to the you can say across the globe. But what later happened, when a life cycle management and this, you can say, pharmaceutical quality system has been built by the different industries, they started evaluated. That's why the new branded drugs, or you can say the companies, have come into the market. Also, you can say the China has grown up its you can say share into the pharma product. Okay, and you can say generics, that has been also evaluated, wherein the company has adopted life cycle management through the development. If suppose there is a parent drug which is being manufactured by the innovator. Similar category product was manufactured by the different industry, but its quality has to be met in accordance or similar to that of the innovator. So that has developed, and the tool which are being developed by ICH, International Harmonization of Conference of Harmonization, these people have given a minimum, you can say, guidance to a pharmaceutical industry, that what is expected for different aspects of a drug product, if it is with respect to its development, with respect to stability, with respect to its management, blah blah things are there, and what are the different tools like quality risk management, ICSQ9, how it is to be implemented, so that nothing can go on wrong. Prospectively or retrospectively, you can check what may go wrong through this quality risk management system, which is the best tool in industry nowadays being practiced. So by implementing this is the change. If you look at this first, you can say, representation and the second representation, how it is being changed, and the new you can say branded pharma or generic pharma, those have been come into picture. As you know how the drug is being manufactured, and it takes many years to you can say come a product from a moiety to the ultimate which is reaching to the customer. It takes 10, 12, or you can say 20 years. So initially, if you see what is my target, accordingly a pharma industry works on its development, how it is to be given for particular, you can say, disorder or disease. So they work on this, and it will take approximately 4 to 10 years. That is called as stage one. After the identification of the drug target for the you can say disease, then the latter stage of the development of you can say drug formulation starts. Okay, and the clinical trials will happen whether the drug is safe, there is no, you can say, other side effects with because of the impurity, or you can say side products which are being developed. So that has to be, you can say, evaluated for the efficacy and safety of the patient through clinical trials. Once the clinical trial is being happened, then the next process starts of its manufacturing, that is called as stage 3. Under this stage 3, then we start to give you can say submission of the product. Okay, and the stability, all those things will be submitted to, you can say, regulators, so that we can get approval, and then it comes into the commercial phase. If you look at this entire cycle, this takes many years. If anything goes wrong, then the cost behind the development of the product, the cost behind the development of the product will be nullified. So that is how it is to be safeguarded. It can be safeguarded by implementing these ICHQ9, ICHQ8, or you can say Q10 principles throughout the life cycle management. Certain monitoring and control systems has to be there, and that is nothing but a pharmaceutical quality system. Okay, so what are the different guidelines, or you can say regulators, which governs these pharmaceuticals? And as you may be knowing, maybe students are not familiar with this one, but you can say the faculty members and this one, there are different regulators. If you look at this, it is the ultimate major market in the pharma is nothing but the US, and which is being governed by the US FDA guidelines, that is 21 CFR part, you can say 10 and 11. The next portion is nothing but the European continents. That is nothing but EMA, MHRA, HPRA. Okay. Now the EMA, MHRA has been, you can say, disconnected. So rest of the countries from the Europe, they follow EMA guidelines, nothing but the Eudralex. Then ANVISA. For Japanese, it is nothing but PMDA. For Canada, it is a Health Canada. And for WHO TRS series, nothing but a WHO is a common Geneva-based, you can say, authority which governs minimal across all globes, the minimum standards to be followed. Okay, and those are based on, you can say, ICH guidelines, or you can say ISO guidelines, industry best practices. Okay, so these are the nothing but the different GMP regulatory bodies, or you can say guidance in the pharmaceuticals. Along with this, nowadays, Indian market, or you can say Indian manufacturers are also catering to countries like Russia, or you can say African countries. So those are also come into picture. And by abiding the principles or minimum requirement to these guidelines, what will happen? The manufacturer will be always all time readiness for the inspection. So anytime you can come and inspect our facility, you can assure that the right product with the, you can say, safety and efficacy is being manufactured at the site, and which ultimately reaches to the patient. Okay, so how the evolution has happened for the quality system? Okay, we talked about how the product is being manufactured, what are the expectation, what is the share of pharma industry in the globe, you can say market value, and what controls are expected. So to have a control on this function in the pharmaceutical organization, or you can say the expectation by the different regulatory is nothing but a quality system should be there, which will have a overview on the manufacturing of the drug product. So evolution of typically you will be knowing, or what is industry may be having different sections like manufacturing, you can say packing, then quality control and quality assurance, okay, then finance, purchase, blah blah things. But this quality system plays an important role. Okay, how? Because it is a system which has a goal of providing high quality system of a product to patients and the prescribers. And a well built quality system in a company, or you can in a pharmaceutical company, which reduce number of recalls. If you are having a good system in place, quality overview on your, you can say, manufacturing process which is being ultimately manufactured and reaches to the customer. Okay, if it is not somewhere it is compromised, then there what will happen, a market will complaint will come. In the morning session you might have heard about learned about the market complaint recalls and all those. So this will happen, which is nothing but a, you can say, replications of your quality of the product. If any patient complains about your product, is nothing but your product is of not that, you can say, required quality or desired quality. So to prevent this, or to prevent the recall of that product, there should be a quality system. So usually how quality has been evaluated or is known to the, you can say, across the world, or you can say those are not for non-pharma, it is being called as quality is nothing but it is a you can say department which is one is having quality control and other one is having a quality assurance. So what does quality control does? Quality control does, it's nothing but test whatever the product is being manufactured on the shop floor. Okay, it tests to test to check whether the drug product is meeting as per your, you can say, acceptance criteria. So assay value should be blah blah things as per your, you can say, limit. Your dissolution profile should be like this. There should be impurity below this limit. So this is being tested quantitatively by lab. And what quality assurance does, it it assures whatever the product is being manufactured on the shop floor according to the guidance, according to, you can say, laid down procedures, according to the expectation, what how it is being manufactured. That assurance is being assured by the this department. So on shop floor, you can say, IPQA concept is there, in process quality assurance department. Okay, so these such departments are there. Then quality management system, the different set of people within the QA is there, who what they do, is there any market complaint? Okay, then the different group is having a evaluation, or you can say collection of a data on annual periodic basis, the annual product review report we can call it as. So that a data from the, you can say, annually of 12-month rolling period will be compiled together, and the process, or you can say progress and evolution of the product will be evaluated through this system, with how my product is behaving throughout the different cycles or different batches manufactured, whether it is consistent or is there any drastic movement from one batch to other batch, what might have gone wrong. So that systems are being evaluated by this quality assurance system on shop floor, by document review and by collection of the data. But going beyond this, now what's they we are calling as a quality system. What is nothing but quality system is nothing but design and manufacture quality into the products by testing and by monitoring. This will not suffice the expectation of a product which is to be manufactured of high quality, or you can say desired quality. No, by testing and by monitoring or having overview, it cannot be. So what we have to do, you have to make such a mechanism that the quality has to be built into the products right from development phase to its commercialization, and routinely it has to be yield a product of a consistent quality. That is the ultimate expectation. That's why these guidelines, or you can say pharmaceutical quality system, then throughout the life cycle management, all these topics had come. And I congratulate Bharati Vidyapit Kolhapur that you have selected a good topic, which is nothing but what is the control. Okay, how the it will be assured that the drug which is being manufactured from development to the commercial, it is reaching to the site. This knowledge has been is expected from such discussions to the, you can say, young pharmacists which are under the process of learning, so that they can go through these systems. It is available plenty of guidance on the internet. Instead of going on the Facebook and, you can say, other social media, please invest your time, go through these ICH guidelines, go through these hydraulics guidelines and read this. Then you will understand what profession you are chosen for your career. It is not for only gaining a service and delivering, you can say, your personal growth, but you have selected a profession for a noble cause, because you are dealing with a product and ultimately it is nothing but dealing with the life of a patient. Okay, so that message, indirectly I want to give through this, you can say, discussions, or you can say this seminar. So the paradigm means the change concept, the new quality concept had come. As I told you earlier, it was known only quality testing, or you can say monitoring, but now the quality system is there. So risk-based concepts and principles are applied into pharma industry. How? By different, you can say, ICHQ8, that is nothing but with respect to development, how it is to be developed, a product is to be developed, or you can say what are the minimum expectations that the drug has to have its background data. Okay, then Q9 is nothing but the application of the quality risk management. So this can be applied, you can say, proactively or as well as retrospectively. Proactively means, suppose I am manufacturing, or you can I'm developing a drug at, you can say, R&D scale, and I gain some knowledge. So when it is to be transferred to scale up, or you can say commercial scale, you can say manufacturing at manufacturing site, so the R&D group, or you can say the technical technology group, they can proactively assess the risk, what can go wrong, and what are the controls we have developed at the R&D, how this knowledge can be transferred to manufacturing site, so that there won't be any failure on the large scale manufacturing. Okay, this called as proactive approach. A retrospective approach is nothing but you can collect the data for the drug which is already manufactured, or you can say distributed in the market, like with the tool of, you can say, annual product review, which is a collection of the data on 12-month rolling period basis, or you can say nowadays it is called as continuous process verification, which is a part of process validation guidance. What we do, different statistical tools are being applied and the data is being collected, and the, you can say, graphical representation, the capability analysis are being, you can say, analyzed, and it gives a picture how each batch is behaving, and throughout, you can say, different number or many number of batches, how the product is being behaving from one batch to other batch, that correlation, or you can say behavior with one other. Some batch are you can say with the mean, or you can say target value. For example, my SL limit is 95 to 105 and target is like 100. So suppose I have manufactured in the last quarter or last year 100 batches, and out of 100 batches, 70 batches are able to meet my target, that is 100, or you can say 99 or 101. But what happens? There are certain batches which can go either towards lower side or higher side. That may be towards 95, maybe not 95, 93, 94, and towards higher maybe like 103. So what made on the product or in the product that this erratic, or you can say abnormal behavior is happened in certain batches, one or two batches, that investigation you can take into place, and then you can apply this Q9 concept, that is called as risk management you can say principle. So what can might have gone in these batches, evaluate, investigate it, okay, collect the data, and then further you monitor the batches. So these are the nothing but the expectation of this Q9, you can say, guideline. Then Q10 is nothing but a pharmaceutical quality system. The different quality systems are there. In the morning session you might have gone through like incidents, change control, kappa, APR, market complaint, recall. So all this data evaluation has to be done for, you can say, whether product is consistently behaving as it is expected from the development, or we can say from the initial validation batches, or is something is going wrong in between, so that I can act on that particular process, so that the process, you can say, abnormal behavior, or you can say erratic behavior, or you can say spatial cause can be minimized. Excuse me. Yeah. So these are nothing but different risk-based principles has to be applied throughout the product life cycle management. Now, today's topic for this seminar, we can say, is a pharmaceutical quality system. So different guidances are having their expectation what is to be done, like ICH-Q10, you can say US FDA or UDALX. So they are nothing but talking about the one subject, or you can say they are in similar. If you look at this ICH-Q10, what they talks model for a pharmaceutical quality system that can be implemented throughout different stages of a product cycle, or you can say product life cycle. Whereas USFDA, what they say, USFDA say quality should be built into the product, because it cannot be relied on the to ensure the product quality by testing only or by monitoring only. So what we discussed earlier, the new quality system, how it is being evaluated by with the help of these principles, what different regulators are expected. Okay, now the expectation of the quality system is that you should have quality management, okay, then quality assurance, quality review meetings, and quality control. So all these four functions, how they are important, okay, that talks about in pharmaceutical quality system. And Udalix also nothing but the same, which is similar with, we can say, ICH-Q10. Now coming to the pharmaceutical quality system, which is ICH-Q10 guideline. If you look at this, you can say flow, or you can say diagram, the product, how it is doing its life cycle management from the development, then transfer, then commercial manufacturing, and the discontinuation. Okay, so from technology transfer till its discontinuation, that is called as GMP boundary. So if anything goes wrong, you have to document. If something is gone wrong, if some product is not behaving as expectation, you have to document, so that it will be evidence that further you can investigate. Okay, and the regulators will also look at these changes, so that they can also have their opinion on that. Okay, this is being behavior, what you have done, it's not the correct way, it has to be done in that way. So such, we can say, you might have heard about how the audits are happening, and from this boundary, if anything goes wrong, and if it is documented or not documented, the regulators will have question on that, and that turned into as a observation, or you can say in FDA point of view of US guidance, it is called as 483 issuance. Okay, so what management responsibilities through this different, you can say, phases of the life cycle of the product is nothing but you should have a knowledge management backup data, and you should apply quality risk management throughout this product life cycle management. So these are called as enablers, and the PQS elements, pharmaceutical quality system management elements, are nothing but process performance and product quality monitoring system, CAPA, that is nothing but a corrective and preventive actions. Okay, change management system and management review. This is very important. Every company it was having all these, like you can say, quality management system tools in place, or you can say system in place, corrective and preventive action, nothing but if something goes wrong, so you have to arrest that mistake through investigation. You find out something is happened. For example, you say today's seminar, if Bhatia ma'am, or you can say different faculty member, they were thought, and suppose in between internet connection at my end or at their end has gone. So what correction, or you can say correct actions you are going to take? You will be having, you can say, dongle, so that at my end I should have a dongle, so connectivity of this, you can say, seminar should not be lost. At the other end also you can have a dongle, so that the connectivity will not be lost. So such tools has to be developed. That is always correct, you can say, correct action. But preventive action, what, how in system you have built. So standalone mode, you can say standby mode. In some other companies, or nowadays you can say automobiles, how they are coming. If you look at the cars, they are coming with the hybrid version. So if any car is running on a fuel or petrol, if stands nearby signal, automatically the engine switch to battery, and the fuel ignition will stop. When you are putting on your, you can say, leg on the accelerator, again from battery it switches to the ignition mode on the, you can say, fuel. That is nothing but a system design, so that at any cost my consumption of the fuel will be minimized. So that is called as prevent action. Systematically you have designed a system that the error will not happen in the future. So that is called a prevent action. I will not go in detail. Morning session you might have gone through this decision, but You can say practical example I will quote it here. Change management system. Change management system nothing but in pharma it is very important. What if we are changing to the established process, that has to be documented. Okay, suppose for example today's seminar was at 12 p.m. sharp and it was expected to be you can say resumed at that time. If it is not resumed, just quote example and it has quoted you can say resumed at 12:30, that is nothing but you can say deviation, or in other sense planned deviation. If suppose I requested you can say faculty member or bhatia ma'am, because of some emergency I could not attend or you can deliver a seminar at right time, so please allow me 15 minutes or 20 minutes. That is called as a temporary change management. So it is a temporary. Now I have to get all this seminar within the time frame which is being assigned to me, 2 hours. I should complete this. So this is called as a temporary management. But permanent, if one day before I could have told your faculty member or you can say Bhatia ma'am, tomorrow it is not possible. Your schedule my 12 p.m. seminar, but because of some emergency or you can say situation, I cannot manage this one. Can you postpone this? So that I am proposing in advance. So that is called as a change. So change. So in pharma also what happens, if suppose a facility is being built or if we can say any document is built or any procedure is being defined and you want to change because of some certain changes, so that document has to be documented in the system. That is called as a change management before happening. After happening, that is called as deviation or you can say investigation or incidences. This is nothing but a you can say PQS elements. There are different another PQS elements. Morning you might have gone through this one. Again, I will you can say rebrush on that at the later stages of this presentation. And next one enabler is nothing but a management review. What happen as per expectation of different regulatory guidelines at periodic basis. Usually monthly you should have a management review meeting wherein you can go through you can say you can what you can say biography of a product. I'm quoting this word. So what will happen, how my different products are behaving, is there any how outliers, or is there any OS out of specification, or is there any investigation? Was there any change proposed for this product or you can say facility? Okay, what was the CAPAs implemented as outcome of the investigation? All these you have to review, and you have to look how robust I can manufacture or control my product so that it can meet the desired quality. So that is being expectation from this management review. And nowadays this report is also expected by the authorities like USFDA, who have to give the scoreboard to the authorities. Yet not it is being not yet you can say implemented, but we have to have this system in place. So that is the expectation of pharmaceutical quality system as per ICHQ 10. So as I told you, the different products goes through different phases. So what is the expectation? The expectation through having a pharmaceutical quality system different throughout the life cycle management, that if suppose I am having a product with you can say with certain acceptable range, but with implementing or you can say application of the ICHQ 8, I have developed a you can say acceptance limit and a design space. Okay, so the CPP, CQA, and CMA, you might have gone through yesterday's seminar by Dr. Wakure. What are those? A critical process parameter means of its variability will have impact on my CQA. That is nothing but quality attribute like assay, dissolution and all. So how those are to be controlled? So what control strategy I am going to have through this life cycle management of the drug product or in different phases, that has to be evaluated through this pharmaceutical quality system. Okay, so what quality system ICHQ 10 you can say the objective. If you look at this objective, you should have a or you can say you should achieve a product realization, so that to establish and implement a system that allows delivery of the products with the quality attributes appropriate to meet the need of patient. This is very important. So from the development you should have knowledge what are my CPPs, what design space I have given, what CQs are there, what CMAs are there, how its variable will have impact on my quality attributes of the product. That product realization you should develop. Okay, and that should be documented. Then the next objective is that establish and maintain a state of control. If suppose ultimately everybody or is there is expectation that whatever the product you have manufactured, it should be or it should maintain a state of control. Consistency of the product has to be maintained. Okay, so you should have effective monitoring and control systems for process performance and product quality in your you can say site company, so that the state of control of the product will be maintained, which assures continued suitability and capability of the process. Very important, which assures the suitability and the capability of the process. For this, proactive approach or you can say retrospective approach of the quality risk management, that is ICHQ9 principles, can be applied, and you can monitor your system. What can go wrong? Okay, what can go wrong, that has to be evaluated for that one. So this is the expectation from ICHQ9. And then ultimately when you realize your product knowledge or you can say realization of the product, then you maintain the product in a state that no variables will can happen. You applied a quality risk management, then you have to seek for continual improvement. What best I can do so that the variation among the batches, variation within the quality attributes can be minimized, so that the target you can say the product can meet my target and the safe product, effective product can reach to the patient. Okay, that has to be facilitated by implementing this quality ICHQ10 pharmaceutical quality system. You can say this one. So how it is integrated with different guidelines. QCH8, that is nothing but development, or you can say QCH9. So which I talked. If you look at this table, how PQS, that is pharmaceutical quality system, is linked with the development. So process for pharmaceutical development are key linkages to product realization. So if any changes, if something you are done at R&D scale, this is to be done so that I am getting a good yield, or you can say I am getting a desired quality. So that knowledge has to be documented, and this database can be transferred to the manufacturing site. So this is the linkage, okay, between development and you can see commercial site. By integrating these two systems, by implementing these two systems, that is ICHQ10 or you can say ICHQ8, that is nothing but development related, drug development. Okay, so why? Because this is required. It gives a robust development understanding that serves the basis for continuous improvement. How the product was developed at R&D and how it is behaving at commercial scale, this gives a better understanding. If anything goes wrong, you can go and you can reach out to the R&D people. So something is going wrong, what can what might have happened during process on the commercial scale, can you help us? If it is documented in a pharmaceutical quality system, it will be readily available to the commercial scale people. They can review it and they can implement a system at commercial scale. So this is very important from that angle of you can say. Then manufacturer with a robust PQS system or process knowledge can implement many types of improvements. Ultimate aim is to improve our product quality. Okay, that is the expectation from this integration. And as I told you, QCH Q9, this should encourage, facilitate the use of quality risk management approaches throughout the system. You should think what may go wrong. Different tools can be used like a FMEA, okay, brainstorming, 5YY analysis, or the Ishikawa bone. There are different tools are available to proactively seek what may go wrong, what systems or controls I am having in place, and what I have to propose so that my product can be in the state of control and it can meet the desired quality. So by implementing this quality risk management system within the quality pharmaceutical quality system will help to judge or you can say proactively evaluate what may go wrong and how I can control. The design and application of the process within the PQS should be based on the appropriate risk management principle and method. So if you look this triangle, these three ICH guidelines are interlinked with each other, and their expectation is that everything should be within a pharmaceutical quality system. Similar is with this watch ICH Q11 and Q12. Okay, that I am not going through this one. ICH Q12 is nothing but the life cycle management. So it is talking about that these principles has to be implemented and managed through the life cycle of the product, right from the development till it's discontinued. Okay, so what are the opportunities by implementing this ICH Q10? As I told you, increase the use of risk-based approaches for the regulatory inspections. If regulators, you provide this document that I have done a risk assessment, that what can go wrong and what might have not gone wrong, and I have implemented this system, they will get a confidence. Yes, proactively rather than something happen during execution. If you have evaluated your you can say a risk on a product, on a system, or you can say with different aspects of the pharma, what is expected in the quality system, then it will be helpful tool for showing or giving confidence to the regulators that by implementing quality risk management in a quality risk under the umbrella of PQS, that is pharmaceutical quality system, this will gain the confidence by the regulators. Then science-based pharmaceutical quality assessment. It is not a traditional way. Something is being developed, it is being transferred to a industry, and the drug is being manufactured. But by implementing such systems, you can give a science-based approach. Okay, like QBD, CPP, CMA, CQAs, how it is to be monitored, what can go wrong. You have to control these systems. So all this is being judged, or you can say move around the uh, science. So that science has to be documented, that science has to be developed, that science has to be transferred to commercial batch manufacturing, so that nothing can go wrong to the product and the product can be manufactured of the desired quality. Okay, so like this, that is nothing but expectation of this ICH-Q10. And nowadays it is, you can say, expectation that real-time release mechanism, very important. Nowadays, online release of the batch. Earlier, what happened? Batch was manufactured, the sample was given to lab, and then upon testing, whether it is meeting the acceptance criteria as per the specification or not, then the QC people used to declare that yes, it is meeting the product is meeting the you can say acceptance criteria as per specification, and then it was given to the QA, and then QA finally authorizes for release of the drug product. But nowadays, the expectation by through this science-based system is nothing but on time on release, like uh, you can say PAT system, NIRs, those are being implemented on the shop floor so that the blend can be released on the shop floor itself instead of waiting till it reaches to the lab and then testing. So this time can be minimized. So to develop this system, you should have a science and a robust pharmaceutical quality system in the manufacturing side. So what are the pharmaceutical quality systems elements? As I told you, the development different guidelines on the ICH-Q10, but there are four quality elements within this ICH-Q10. First is process performance and product quality monitoring system. Second one is corrective and preventive actions, which we talk later, but then change management and the management review. Now we'll go one by one how it is, what are the expectations of these four elements by applying this ICH Q10 pharmaceutical quality system at different phases of the life cycle of the product, and what it will help or it will assist to the manufacturer, or you can say to meet the desired quality of the product. Okay, so if you look at this first criteria, or you can say element, process performance and product quality monitoring system, if you look at development phase, what it will help? The process and the product knowledge generated and the process and the product monitoring conducted through the development can be used to establish control strategy for the manufacturing. Very important. If something you are developing at R&D scale, you should generate a database, you can say a process monitoring system, or you can say knowledge, and that will help as a knowledge transfer from development to the technology transfer team and ultimately to the commercial. If you look at this second you can say column, how it helps in technology transfer mechanism. So monitoring during scale up activities can provide a preliminary indication of process performance and successful integration into manufacturing. So this knowledge base is that you are developed at your R&D, or you can say development phase, and it is transferred. So you can judge. Okay, you can provide a preliminary, you can say indication what may go wrong during commercial, or you can say scale up activities. So very important. When it comes to the commercial manufacturing, a well-defined system for process performance and product quality monitoring should be applied. Based on these two bases of the earlier phases, it can be applied at this cycle so that performance within a state of control and any improvement is further required can be evaluated, can be judged. So that is the expectation. And latter phase of the product life cycle, if I look at this product discontinuation, if suppose once manufacturing ceases, monitoring such as stability testing, okay, upon completion of the stability study, what has gone wrong during this product life cycle of the management, or you can say product life cycle of the product, that knowledge can be taken into consideration so that a further improvement can be done into this product, further product can be redeveloped, further validation can be done, and a new you can say state of control drug product can be brought to the market, so that effective drug product can reach to the customer. So the first element will help through this four cycles of the, or four phases of the life cycle of the product. This is being tabulated in ICHQ10. It is a ready reference. You can read through ICHQ10. The table is available for that one. If you go ahead, second element, corrective and preventive action, how it is to be documented at different life cycle management and how it helps. If you look at this tabular first development phase, if you have kappa methodology use useful where corrective action and preventive actions are incorporated in the iterative design and development process. If you document or if you implement this corrective and preventive action at your development phase, so whatever the lab scale, or you can say R&D scale correction and preventive actions you are implemented, that knowledge can be transferred to the technology transfer team. Okay, so which can be used as a effective system for feedback, feed forward, and continual improvement. During technology transfer, suppose something can go wrong, and through this kappa management system you can also go back to your R&D team and look, while developing this, or you can say while transferring from lab scale to the commercial scale, I'm finding these are the ups and you can say downs in the manufacturing, or you can say processing. So can you design in different way, so that feedback can be given through kappa management. Or something gone wrong and it is not required to go back, but in commercial scale something can happen, so that knowledge can also be transferred from this kappa system to the commercial scale. So kappa should be used as the effectiveness of the actions should be evaluated. So this kappa, this system of transfer can be used for the effectiveness of the drug product development, or you can say manufacture at the commercial scale. And later phase of the fourth phase, you can say product discontinuation, kappa should be continued after the product is discontinued. The impact on product remaining on the market should be considered, as well as other products that might have affected. So what happen if you are discontinued product because it is not there is no demand or something might have gone wrong. So but the product still is in the market. Some batches are in the market. Some batches are on the stability. So all this you can say feedback from this marketed products which are available in the market and the stability evaluation studies, the backup or the feedback has to be compiled in the kappa system, so that it will be required for the improvement in that drug product. So such system will help in pharmaceutical quality system, that is the ICSQ10 expectation in the as a one of the element throughout the product life cycle management. Then third is change management. As I told you earlier, anything is to be you want to change, then there should be change management system, that is called a change control management system in a pharmaceutical industry. So for example, at development phase of the life cycle of the product, change is an inherent part of the development process that should be documented. Very important. If something change you are done at the lab scale, that will be helpful during technology transfer and during commercial manufacturing also. So this is why it is required, because the process should be consistent with the stage of pharmaceutical development. So consistent transfer of the developed product should go to the commercial scale. At this phase, if you look at this, the change management system should provide management and documentation of adjustments made during processing technology transfer activities. Whatever adjustments you are done during technology transfer from the lab scale or R&D scale, that has to be documented. So that will be the evidence for commercial people, or you can say commercial scale up activity. So they will take this knowledge and they will implement during this commercial scale. So a formal change management system should be in place for commercial manufacturing. Oversight by the quality unit should be provide assurance that appropriate science and risk based assessment. So what change control management system is there? If any change is there, again ICHQ9 principle says if any change is there, you have to evaluate what may go wrong. Okay, so the risk has to be evaluated by this change. Suppose, for example, I want to come from Nashik to, you can say, Kolhapur by what way? The normal way is that by Nashik, Pune, then Kolhapur. But suppose I want to take a change. I want to go from Nashik to Thane, then Thane to Pune. So I have to evaluate my risk. What can go wrong? Means wrong. So suppose a normal route is that Nashik, Pune, Kolhapur. Instead of that, I am going from Nashik, Thane, Pune, Kolhapur. Then what are the risks? It may take time to reach my destination. Okay, if there is a, you can say, traffic jam into Kasara Ghats, further it will delay my reaching to the destination. So all this evaluation has to be proactively done in the system. So that is the expectation of ICH Q9, that is quality risk management. So that assessment has to be done. Similar, this is a practical example I am giving for better understanding. In pharma, like suppose I am changing my API, what can go wrong? If suppose particle size of the excipients or API is changed, what can go wrong? How it can impact my, you can say, CQA, process critical quality attributes of the product. Okay, that evaluation has to be done by applying a risk management. Okay, then the fourth phase is product discontinuation. Any changes after product discontinuation should go through appropriate change management system. Similar like kappa, at the discontinuation phase, if something is gone wrong, you have to document and it should be handled through change management system. The last, you can say, element of the ICH Q10 pharmaceutical quality system is nothing but management review of the process. Okay, very important that during development, the aspect of management review can be performed to ensure adequacy of the product and process design. Okay, there should be a review on that, how it is being developed, how it is being manufactured. Okay, during transfer also, it should be performed to ensure that developed product and process can be manufactured at commercial scale. This will give a judgment that whatever the product is manufactured at R&D scale or development can be manufactured at commercial scale. Okay, so this review will help to give the assurance. Excuse me, I think there is a voice. Somebody want to speak? Hello.
Yes, sir. We have muted that, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. I think there may be some question. Is it okay or whether I am going fast? Just let me know. Hello.
It's okay, sir. We are having time yet.
Okay, okay. Then product discontinuation. Then management review should include. I was on third phase of the product. Management review should be structured system as described above and should support continual improvement. So a review meeting should happen regularly in the pharmaceutical industry. How my product is behaving. Okay, what are the lacunas or you can say incidences or deviations are happened during product manufacturing? Was there any market complaint I have received for that product? Was there any recall because of that market complaint, or you can say failure or OS, or you can say stability failure? So all this has to be evaluated in this management review meeting. Site leaders, you can say, or R&D leaders will judge whether how the product is being behaving during this life cycle and can further improvement is needed. Okay, to arrest the you can say shifting of a process, or you can say erratic behavior in the process, so that I can meet my target, you can say expectancy, or you can say acceptance criteria. So this review system will help in that aspect. And in the fourth phase, the management review should include such items as product stability and product quality complaints. This is the nothing but stability, how it is behaving over a period of time as time lapses, like 12 months, 24 months. If the life cycle, you can say shelf life of the product is like 36 months. So throughout this life cycle, we can say stability, how my product is stable with respect to different quality attributes, that has to be judged. If anything goes wrong, then this meeting, or you can say management review, will help that yes, because of this system you need to give this feedback to commercial, or you can say give feedback to the R&D scale, so that the improvement can be done. So this phase also will help by reviewing the system through management, you can say review meetings. So that is the expectation. Now we have looked up to what is the expectation of, you can say, ICH 12, that is nothing but life cycle management. Then ICH Q9 risk management system, quality risk management, that we call ICH Q9 principle, how it is to be implemented through different life cycle phases of the product, from development to the discontinuation. Then in pharma industry, roughly the quality system which are monitoring the process performance, and each assures the product you can say quality and efficacy. That there are different systems. Morning session you might have gone through this one. So handling of incidences, something goes wrong which is not as per expectation, that is called as a mechanism to document it, that something is happened. For example, I'm having this bottle and it is expected to be placed at this position like this only, so that it will not have impact on my you can say process or you can say my product quality, but suddenly it tilted down. So this is the incidence. It was not supposed to be tilted down, but it is tilted. Why it is tilted, that has to be documented, that is incidence. Now further, if it is tilted down and whatever the liquid inside it is there, it is being spilled out. Okay, so that has the impact on my product quality, that needs to be investigated. Okay, first of all, what control mechanisms I have given, that my bottle which is expected to be always stand in this you can say upright position, but suddenly it is being fall down. So why it is being fall down? So first you document it, that is called as incidence, which is not as per expectation of the you can say let down procedure. Then why it is being fall down, that has to be investigated. So there are different systems of investigations. We can have different tools. Okay, like 5Y analysis. Before that you can have brainstorming. Then different tools of you can say QRM can be applied, like failure mode effect analysis, FMEA. Then fault tree analysis. There are different tools. You can go through ISQ9, you will come across that one. Then the root cause analysis. Okay, so blah blah things are, because why the bottle has been fall down, it was not placed on with the stable platform. Okay, that can be the root cause. Okay, the other is that the base of the bottle was slippery, because of which some vibration might have happened, that why the bottle has been fallen down. So such root cause in pharmaceutical industry has to be done. Okay, so that is a mechanism of you can say system is in place in pharmaceutical industry, that called as root cause analysis. Some industries altogether they are having all these criteria in a one system, that is called as deviation management. But nowadays, as the expectation by the different regulatories are there, so some call incidence management, some call investigation management, or you can say they are having this breakup in that system. Then change control, we have talked about this one. If anything is to be we want to change from the established system, document it, that is called a change control management system. Okay, so it can be temporary, it can be permanent. So temporary nothing but as I told you, I have given example that instead of 12 o'clock seminar, it is proposed to have at 12:30, that is called a temporary management. Okay, if suppose permanent, so day before means I know I have planned that this system cannot work. I have to go by this system. I am proposing a new system, that is called as a permanent system. So earlier day I told faculty member or Bhatia ma'am that tomorrow's presentation cannot happen. So can you postpone it? So by postponing this seminar, what can go wrong? The schedule of your seminars may disturb. Bharati Vidyapeeth seminars may disturb. So that has to be evaluated by the quality management, or you can say risk management system. Okay, so I am giving them just practical example so that the students can understand that one. Okay, risk assessment, nothing but what I talked about this one. Now most important is annual product review system, or APQR, or you can say, or in other industry will just call as APR. What this system does? These systems on annual basis, on periodic basis, they collate the data. Okay, with respect to you can say quality attributes, CQAs, CPPs, or CMAs, then quality systems, QMS systems. What are the incidences? Were there any OS, or were there any complaints? All those. So it is nothing but a Bible of the product can be documented in this format, so that as a quality person, I can judge whether my product is behaving as per expectation or not, so that I can give a feedback from this system. Look, I have compiled a data of 12-month rolling period, which is as per guideline. And in this case, like for example, 100 batches are being manufactured, out of which 90 batches are meeting the expectation or has met with all parameters. But there are 2-3 batches which have misbehaved, not as per the expectation. Okay, so different statistical tools nowadays expectation, like Minitab software is there. So we put the data, and it gives a statistical representation in terms of control chart evolution, or you can say process capability analysis. And there are certain acceptance criteria. If it is below that, it means that my product is not, you can say, stable. So I have to give feedback to manufacturing people. I have to give feedback to the management team. I have to give feedback to the R&D team. Look at this, certain batches have misbehaved. Was there any incidents that I have to look into that one? How this can be improved? So this data will help the, you can say, management team, the manufacturing team, quality team, or you can to R&D team, how further improvement can be done. Then process validation. This is a big topic, how the drug product is manufactured, then how it is to be validated, what are the minimum numbers, so that a consistent product can be established during normal commercial manufacturing. So during this phase, I will set up a parameters with respect to CPPs, CKVs. Okay, so this should be the limit. So beyond this limit, this should not go. So how it is being developed based on the my process validation. So this is the mechanism through which the product can be, you can say, validated for the normal commercial manufacturing. Internal audit. This is one of the tool in pharma industry. What is that? It is called as a self inspection. Inspection of our self systems. Okay, so that today I can go one of the system, like for example, you can go into the quality system, you can go into quality control laboratory, you can go into the manufacturing, you can go into you can say IT perspectives and all those things. So you can evaluate what is going wrong. Okay, something is going, practical problems or physical, you can say, barriers are there. What can gone wrong, that has to be judged and evaluated through this system. So it is nothing but the introspective review of our systems by company personnel itself. Okay, so that is nothing but called as self inspection. Then handling of a market complaint. Okay, something is being happened which is got unnoticed during site purview or site control, but ultimately the patient which is consuming your drug, he sees and comes back to you. Look, whatever product you are given to me, it is not as per expectation. For example, physical aspects or from chemical aspect. Now chemical quantitative he cannot go, but he will say I am not getting effect. Okay, from physical aspect, what will say, if routinely your product was suppose given in a commercial, you can say, white product, but suddenly I get pale yellow color on this product, it means that something has gone wrong. So such feedback from the patient is termed as a complaint. Okay, that complaint you have to investigate what might have gone wrong, that my product description with physical appearance was like white product, but it has come into like a pale yellow color. So whether is there any chemical reaction might have happened, was there any impact because of my closure container system? Okay, or whether over a period of time internally some mechanism or reaction is happening, so that the product which is being initially developed as a white product, it is going in, now it is turned into pale yellow color. Similar way, if suppose certain products are there which customer comes to you back that I'm not getting effect. For example, your headache, if suppose one of the drug product like paracetamol is being manufactured by the company and given, so whenever he is used to get a headache and having this tablet, you can say he used to get relief. But nowadays what happened, he's a regular, suppose for example customer of that you can say product, and one of at certain time he feel, even though earlier I used to take one tablet and I used to get relief from my headache, now one tablet is not enough for me. I have to take my two tablets, or you can say three tablets, with the help of, you can say, physician. Then he will say, earlier the same product I was taking from this company, and within one tablet I used to get effect and I get to get relief from this headache. But now what happened? So he complains back. So then we have to look at this one, whether my efficacy of the product is being decreased, whether my product is not up to the mark with respect to assay, so that the effect is not getting, or something else from patient point of view, whether it is physiological or whether he's on other medications. All these aspect has to be judged from this system. Okay, then product recall. If something goes wrong, if it is proven that your product is default faulty, then ultimately if it is having impact on patient safety and life, if it is going to be a life threatening, Through this system, we recall the batches from the market, and which is very you can say setback, you can say parameter for a pharmaceutical company if such case happens in a pharmaceutical industry. Okay, this should not happen, and the ultimate aim of the pharmaceutical industry should that there should not be a recall. But prospectively having pharmaceutical quality system in place throughout the life cycle management of the drug product through different phases, and if you are having controlling system, if you are having a monitoring system, proactively if you find something which is a life threatening to the patient, in that case you can call a product, you can recall a product. Or else something has gone wrong and the patient had come noticed or brought to your notice that look, something is happened, I was to supposed to get paracetamol tablet, but there is one another tablet which is not meeting as per the physical appearance of the product. Maybe it is a mix up, and if he gives as a complaint to us and we investigated, yes, it is a mix up. So what happened, certain products, if the patient is on, you can say, critical condition and he's consuming this product along with the mixed up product, then we don't know what effect it is going to happen on the patient. So in that cases, if it is confirmed that mix up is happened at our site, in that case also the product needs to be recalled from the market. Okay, then analytical method validation, vendor qualification, and the batch release, these are the other aspects, we can say different quality management systems, how method is to be developed, what are the parameters, then how it is transferred to the, you can say, laboratory or site level, that has to be evaluated through systems. Vendor qualification, whatever the vendors are there, those one needs to be audited. Okay, the vendors which are raw materials or you can say excipients are being taken, the initial validation, how it was qualified. So all these are the big topics. I think morning session you might have gone, but if I will go through this again, it will take much more time. Okay, and the batch release. So whenever the batch release being taken place, you have to assure all this data. Okay, is there any deviation, whether it is being closed, was there any impact on product or not, that has to be assured. Okay, is there any changes still open or it is being closed, whether it is having impact on my batch which is I am going to release, that has to be assured by the quality assurance personnel before releasing this batch into the market. So this is a system in place under the umbrella of quality management system, which is nothing but a part of you can say ICS Q10 PQS. Okay, so how PQS will help, or you can say what are the usage of PQS? If suppose you are having a well pharmaceutical quality system, well defined process and product starting from development and extending throughout the product life cycle. If you are having PQS in system in your industry or you can say system, then from development to product discontinuation, you will have well defined processes, you will have well controlled systems. Okay, then the second use is that sound methods for assessing and reducing the risk. If you are having this system in place, you may reduce your risk. Something gone wrong, you will arrest it at that particular moment itself, so that the further batches, further lots can be you can say prevented having impact of because of that. Then proper identification and control areas for potential process weakness. So if you are having system in place like investigation, or you can say incidences or change management or corrective or preventive actions, this will give you to develop to arrest a weakness in the product. So you can at well time, right time, you can arrest this you can say weaknesses or you can say drawbacks or you can say lacunas or uncontrolled state of a product, so that a safe and effective product can be manufactured. Then how it helps PQS system for careful analysis of product quality. Then responsive deviation and investigation system that lead to timely remediation. If suppose something is gone wrong, so instead of something complaining about your product, that is nothing but a patient, if you are having pharmaceutical quality system in place at your you can say industry, then this will have a timely remediation, so that the complaint or you can say default faulty product cannot be manufactured or cannot be distributed to the market. So control product can be distributed to the market, and decisions based on understanding and intended use of the product, you can take a decision whether I can continue with this product or I can discontinue this product, whether I can improve this product or there is no improvement is required. So if you are having this pharmaceutical quality system management in your, you can say, pharma industry, this will enable to take a decision that a safe product can be reached to the patient, and you can implement different, you can say, improvements right from development phase through technology transfer phase, then commercial phase, and even from the knowledge while discontinuing the product, so that effective drug can be manufactured. This is the, you can say, ultimate use of the pharmaceutical quality system. So what are the advantages of having quality management system? Ultimate is that whatever the product you are manufacturing, it should be of consistent, you can say, reliability. That consistency has to be maintained from batch to batch. Okay, then it should be, have efficiency. If you are meeting these both the criteria, ultimately there will be customer satisfaction. He will not come back that I am not getting effect, or your product is not as per the initial what I used to get earlier. So this customer satisfaction, then ultimately your pharma will grow. There is a growth to the pharma industry, and ultimately the business will run. So this is nothing but to have a effective, you can say, quality pharmaceutical quality system in place in our industry. These are the advantages for a manufacturer from all aspects, from consistency, efficiency, customer satisfaction, and its growth will help or enable. So why it is required? Because nowadays we are talking about industry 4.0. If you look at these different, you can say, pictures shown here, if you see what was the first phase, it was a, you can say, a traditional mechanical based system, where the mechanical or power system was used. It was a time consuming process to develop a product. Okay, then evolution happened. What happened? The electricity came into picture, then assembly lines came into picture, so that the time required into a traditional system has been evaluated and the time is being reduced, so that mass production can be happen. Then the next phase came into picture, that the computer and automation. Okay, like Toyota example is the best example. Earlier, 100 people used to work in the car manufacturing company of the Toyota. They bought in system Six Sigma, you can say, management. So, or you can say system. And with the evolution of the computer and the automation, the manpower was reduced, the process delay time was reduced, and the perfection was brought into the system, so that my product which I am manufacturing is meeting to the expectation as desired within a less span of time with less, you can say, cost. And now we are at the phase of fourth evolution, or you can say fourth phase, that is called as cyber physical systems, wherein the systems like paperless activities, one system can talk to the other systems, okay, the through Wi-Fi's. Okay, so internal communication happens within the system by this enabling cyber physical system, that is also called as internet of things, IoT things. Okay, so these are communicating with each others and they do corrections within themselves, so that as expected my product is being manufactured, rather than replacing this, going back, I am procuring and placing this component, then I'm having this one. So this time delaying process now has been gone. We are coming to the this phase where internally the things will communicate with each other and the corrections will take place at that instance only. So with this system, I think maybe less time, or you can say this one, I want to conclude my session. But before conclusion, something as a takeaway from this training, I would like to give if to the pharma, you can say, youngsters, which are a future pharmacist for you can say pharma industry, which are the knowledge base from the academics. So you please, whatever your education you are taking, so try to acquire the knowledge, not for exam or getting the marks. Please acquire the knowledge, get into the detail of knowledge, why the so and so systems are developed. Okay, for example, I will quote example a tablet. What are different types of tablets? Sustain. Okay, then effervescent tablets. Okay, core tablets. Why these are different dosage forms or different systems are there? Why it is called? What is the mechanism behind it? How it is going to have patient, you can say, efficacy? How a patient is going to be benefited with these different systems? what is the mechanism behind developing this dosage form in you can say different dosage forms, for example liquid, solid, injectables, what are its advantages. So try to get acquire knowledge
Hello.
by hello.
Sir, sorry, sir, to interrupt.
Yeah.
Still, we are having around half an hour, sir.
No problem. No problem. It will take again 10-15 minutes and then we can have an open discussion. But I'm concluding this one. That's why I'm telling this. Then
Okay.
try to learn and implement whatever the knowledge you have acquired through this system. Okay. So ultimately the success will come to you. See, look at this. You can say, 1 minute. I will. So what is a self, you can say mantra for transformation, mantra for self transformation. If you are learning at this phase, you are in the phase of, you can say learning. So acquire the knowledge. This is a mantra for, you can say self transformation. If at the student phase, if you are learning yourself or acquiring the knowledge, then take a training. Okay. Habits has to be developed within you. Nobody is coming to, you can say train and guide you that how it is to be done, behavioral aspects. Okay, then execution aspects that has to be inculcated by you within yourself. Nobody is going to teach you or you can say spoon feed. Then it is wholly dependent on you that what is to be learned and what is to be unlearned. Okay, so this phase will help you what knowledge I have to get. Okay, and what unlearn means with respect to behavioral aspects. Some what happens if you are good, you can say a student passed out from the academics and come into the industry, but you are not having the good behavioral aspects, that is not going to help you as your career growth. Okay, so that has to be learned by a person or you can say student as a mantra for self transformation. Then whenever required in the academic also seek guidance. Always have a mentor or you can say role model, you can demonstrate yourself or you can take a help of your gurus. Okay, so I am not getting or I'm not having this concept understood totally. So reach out to your you can say faculty members or you can say lecturers or professors. They will help you. Okay, that ability should be there. Otherwise what will happen, you will learn something is being taught, you read it, exam is being given, you are passed out, but the knowledge is zero, or you can say the acquired knowledge is zero. So that's why you seek advice. If you are in the state of mind that always in the learning phase, this will help you to grow in your future. Then self actualization, or you can say self skill mastery. By birth there are some certain skills. Leaders, if you see, usually it is being told leaders are being born and not being created. Okay, so such skills, your skills of presentation, your skills of communication, your skills of innovation has to be inculcated by you within yourself. Nobody is going to teach you or you can say demonstrate you. So that has to be develop within yourself, and that is a mantra for self transformation. From this training I would like to give to the students of pharma industry from Bharati Vidyapeeth of you can say College of Pharmacy Kolhapur, because you should be yourself or independent thinker rather than a mindless follower. Don't follow anyone, follow for the good things, but industry that is not called as a mindless follower. Okay, so you should be individual thinker so that innovation can happen. And with this, I will conclude my, you can say, presentation. Thank you, everybody, and thanks for your patience. Hope that it has met your expectation. So at any point of time, you can reach out to me. You can say contacts or you can say email ID is being given. Definitely, I will be happy to assist you whatever I can assist from this. You can say seminar other than my pharma background. Okay. So hope this met expectation. If anybody has having questions and this one, the Bhatia ma'am or who
Thank.
is there?
Okay.
Yes, sir. Dr. Deepak
Yes.
Mai is here.
So I will put off
Yes.
my mask now.
Yes,
Because
yes, sir. No problem, sir. Thank you, sir, for your nice presentation. Vijaya, you can take the control.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for your valuable talk and a very informative session. Now the session is open for discussion. I request all the participants to unmute your mic and ask the question directly, or you can post your questions in the WhatsApp group.
So anybody's having question or it has gone tangentially?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
We all are mostly from the academic background. So,
Mhm.
as an industry person, we just want to know that what qualities or abilities should be there in student while joining any industry.
Yeah. See, look at your brochure of your, you can see college, what they have distributed, or you can say the current need of the student is being expected from the this type of seminars. Now, this is very open and broad question you asked. What qualities you are expecting from the student who are passing? First thing, as I told you in the mantra of self transformation. So, who is the candidate or who is the student? He should understand the concept what he have learned during the academics. Suppose, for example, tablet or capsule or in different dosage forms or the technology, quality assurance principles and those things. So try to understand the concepts or mechanism behind it. Don't read it. First thing. Second thing, being from the pharma industry and we are from majority of the students are from the rural area, they are lacking in with respect to communication and presentation. Excuse me. Yeah. So from presentation and communication, you can say skill we are lacking. So that has to be developed. So in this case, you as a faculty or you can say as a institute, you can encourage people to demonstrate their communication skill, their presentation skill, so that the confidence can come. Okay. Third says is that behavioral aspects. Person who is with the behavior means polite, speaking at right time, okay, miss right at first time. This is the mantra nowadays in a pharma industry. What happens, usually in college days, if something goes wrong, we used to write, and something goes wrong, then we cut off it and we leave it. But in pharma industry it won't be acceptable. What will happen if you are writing something, it is mean that it is a black and white, and that is a thumb rule, that is upfront, and you are concluded it. If something goes wrong, and if you are correcting later on, that will be a question on your you can say documentation. That is called as data integrity or data bridging, you can say things. That's why the different regulations will object and give observation. So as a message to the pharma students or academics, I can say you should have a character or you can say inbuilt characteristics that whatever you are doing, have a principle in your mind that I am doing right first time. If I am doing my work, I should do my work as per the laid down procedure. If suppose I am asked to do some task as per the you can say guiding principle, I have to follow that guiding principle. That is called as right first time. So these characteristics should be developed: communication skill, presentation skill, behavior skill, okay, and right first time. So this has to be developed within the academic. I can say that I hope it met your expectation.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, we have received few questions.
Mhm.
First is how to evaluate the effectiveness of quality management system.
Yeah. See, there are effectiveness check nowadays. It is like a you can say robust mechanism in place. So what happens if suppose any change I have implemented, or you can say any corrective and preventive action I have implemented. So whether whatever change I have implemented or whatever you can say correction or corrective action I have taken, whether it is giving the desired result or not. So that mechanism is called as effectiveness check. So what I will do, for example, I say um, how I can quote example in pharma industry. Suppose for example, I have given uh, from facility aspects of this one, I was to have a, you can say change room systems, change rooms. Then my manufacturing block is at other site. So I used to go by this manufacturing block, then another manufacturing block through different change room systems. Instead of this, what I have done, I suppose I built a facility or corridor which will have from first change room directly opening to the you can say manufacturing block. So this is the change. Now whether it is working effectively as per my expectation, so what I will do, I will give a monitoring mechanism on that. Suppose for example I used to take two changes to reach that block, the gowning, the time was, for example, it was taking like 2 hours and 2 gowns. So what was my expectation for this change was that should go reach out my manufacturing block with one gown, and instead of like 1 hour, it will be like, so for example, say 30 minutes. So that was the proposal. I have implemented a change. I have built a facility. A change room was built, and I'm able to now reach to manufacturing block directly from one change room to the manufacturing block. Whether I'm reaching within 30 minutes, whether this change has helped me, so that change has to be monitored by this effectiveness check. So this is also one of the system we can say in quality management system, which is linked with the change management system also, and as well as to the corrective action, prevent action also. So these are the effectiveness check mechanisms in quality system. Is that okay?
Okay, okay, sir. Yeah, yeah.
Or physical means practical example also I can quote. Like for
Yes, you may, sir.
morning I told you bottle. See, this
Yeah.
bottle is fall down is a incidence. Okay, why
Hmm.
incidence? Because the platform was not given properly. So what I have done, I have given a stable platform now. Okay, but even upon giving a stable platform, whether my bottle is able to stay in the upright position or not. Okay,
Yeah.
suppose my that block is having a vibratory, you can say, platform, and further giving a stable platform is not going to help. So how I will do? So I will monitor this. I will place a bottle, okay, maybe one time, two times, and I will see whether vibration is impacting my provided stable platform or not. If still providing the stable platform, it is still tilting, or you can say it is falling down. So what I have to do? I have to grout it into the, you can say, floor, the platform which I have given. So that is nothing but a further evaluation through this effectiveness check. Got it?
Yeah, yes, sir. So, as it is a part of change management, then does it need any regulatory submission or like?
No, what happens? See, change control and kappa, like these are nothing but uh, prospective, proactive, you can say proposals. Okay, so whatever the changes you are going to this one, it will go to the regulatory department within a company. So they will evaluate. And based on that, they will say whether it is to be submitted to the regulatory bodies or not. So there are system in place. Yes, if it is a change, if suppose for example, I have taken a change for API. Okay, so that change is being given as a regulatory person or department from industry. What I will say, this change is to be submitted to the regulatory as a filing. Okay, so there are regulatory submissions are there, para 4. Okay, and then you can say different that has to be communicated to the regulatory bodies. Okay, or can I communicate to the agency annual basis? So these are the different evaluations based on the nature of the change that has to be you can say submitted to the agency.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Sir,
Yeah.
with respect to statistical process control,
Mhm.
may I ask, means what is exactly
Yeah.
the significance, means importance of that statistical process control in the industry? Means where
Yeah.
actually exactly we find the application?
See, statistical application nowadays, it is the expectation, and you can say must have tool in the pharma industry. Now, what happens? Different statistical tools. Earlier, what used to happen with the Excel, with the help of Excel tool, we used to plot a graph, and the behavior of the different batches were evaluated. But now, a Part 11 compliant, as per the USFDA guideline expectation, you should have a Part 11 software, okay, like Minitab. So what we happen, we put a data into that one, and that data is converted into control chart, or you can say process capability analysis. So control chart, what will give? Suppose my example, I'm having 95 to 105 as my, you can say, specification limit, and my mean is 100, and my all batches are behaving within this 95 to 105. Okay, and close to 100. But some of the batches which are reaching to 94, or you can say reaching to 104. So graphically that is being reflected into control charts, and that gives the indication to me that certain batches, okay, for this product are behaving towards upper side or lower side. So what might have gone wrong there? So that will give indication from that statistical tool to me. So I can look into that particular batch. What might have gone wrong? Why it is behaving, you can say away or as a outlier from the other batches. So that gives indication to me. That is nothing but a significance from statistical point of view. Now other thing is that capability analysis. Okay, there is a standard for that. If suppose my CPK, CPK means like a process behavior within the batch of different, you can say sample lots, or you can say batch size. If it is great 1.33 or greater than that, the process is to be called as stable. If it is less than that, it is called as marginally stable. And if it is below low 1, okay, 1, then it is called as unfavorable. So I need to take action. What might have gone wrong? My capability analysis is not up to the mark. Then I will investigate. I will call experts like my validation team. I will call my R&D team. See, your product is behaving abruptly and it is turned across lower side and upper side. Some of the batches also have gone crossed your, you can say LCL UCL, that is upper control limit and lower control limit derived from the Minitab. There is a, you can say Minitab itself calculates LCL and UCL, and beyond that there is a specification. But why these batches are behaving above LCL and UCL, because of which there is a variation, and this variation sometimes may cross your specification limit. So that helps us as a proactive approach to reach out to my validation team, to reach out my validation or the R&D team, and I can think to redevelop my product. Okay, so revalidation can be done. Some changes can be done into that one so that the variation can be arrested and the product can be brought to the towards a mean. So this will help me to bring my product to the state of control. So this is the help of, you can say, statistical tool in a pharma industry. So nowadays it is also one of the hot topic in the industry which regulators are expecting. But this has to be judged by the you can say dosage form wise. For example, if my product is in form of pellets and there is a variation, but none of the time my product is has not crossed my specification limit, then I can claim it as a process behavior. So in that case, I may not take any action. But if my product is stable, the dosage form is not able, is expected to go out of that limit, and my process is starting moving towards either range, means to either towards lower or towards higher. And one day what will happen? It will go beyond my specification limit. Ultimately, I have to stop production. So before going that stage, what this statistical tool help me that something is going wrong. Please look at this, so that the quality assurance person will reach out to the validation team, technology transfer team, R&D team. Look at this data. Something is going wrong. Please act on this so that the variations can be arrested. So this is the significance of statistical tool in the pharma industry. Is that fine?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. But exactly what is the location of that? Means it is a kind of display, na? So to whom
Display.
that display is accessible? Means in that aspect.
No, display means see, it is a graphical representation. There are control charts. I'm not having right now, but 1 minute. Give me a sec.
Okay.
I'll show you how
Yes,
it looks.
sir. Just I wanted to know that means how it is looks like and to whom it looks means is visible and
No, it,
then
yes, yes, yes. Okay, okay, got it. It looks like a graphical representation. Right now, behind me, 1 minute. I will show on board.
yes, sir.
1 minute. Hold on. Whether my screen is displayed?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Uh, Camera is on. Can you see board here?
Yes, board is also visible.
Okay. So what I can do? I'm just putting off my.
Uh, yes, sir. Your voice is visible.
1 minute. I'm looking for marker. Marker just hold on. If you are time, just give me 5 minutes. I will get there because
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No problem. Sure.
See, I have asked that graphs. I will show you on the system itself.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 1 minute. Hold on. Further, if anybody is having other question, then we can continue for that till this reaches to me. Hello.
Hi, yes, sir.
If anybody is
Yes,
having further question, then we can
participants,
take it.
participants are requested. If you have any question, you can directly unmute yourself and ask to the resource person.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
I would ask question that is, what are the key concepts for effective risk management?
Acha. There is a guideline called as quality risk management. Okay, it is ICH-Q9. The quality risk management, there are different tools you can say available in that system. You can go for FMEA, brainstorming, then fault tree analysis, HAZOP. Okay, so these are the different tools which can be implemented on in quality systems, pharmaceutical quality risk management system. So these are to be applied at different phases of you can say product. When it is change proposal is being proposed, during that time also I can have this quality risk management either by FMEA, that is follower made effect analysis, or you can say HAZOP, HACCP, or you can say fault tree analysis. In you can say corrective and preventive action also I can implement that one. In root cause analysis also I can implement. So there is a guideline on ICH Q9. You will have 10 to 12 you can say different tools available for this. Is that fine?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Next question, and if anybody is having.
Sir, as you explained that while showing the importance of statistical calculation, as you said that there are sometimes the problem occur in maybe the production of any type of the batch, and if it is because of some parameters, you have to be use that statistical calculation applications with along with your different teams, and you have to be find out what is the parameter because of that the problem occurred, and you have to be correct it, and then again you have to be finish up the manufacturing of that batch. So I just want to know, as you are DGM, you have a very nice industrial exposure of that. So is there any latest example has been occurred in a such a way while you are working and you have to be corrected?
I should not quote that what is happening in the industry, because that is my you can say confidentiality agreement with my you can say industry. Now look at this. See, this is the outcome of the Minitab with respect to control chart. Whether my screen is visible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So what happens if suppose I have manufactured this n number of batches? Okay. And if you look at this, there is a process behavior that whatever the LCL and you can say UCL is being calculated by the Minitab. Okay, maximum batches are within this limit, but certain batches, okay, certain batches which are about to tend and which have crossed this LCL UCL, but not the specification limit. Suppose my specification limit is 105. If this is cross, it means naturally it will be out of specification. But there are certain batches which are being highlighted or which are tending to reach towards upper specification limit. So what will happen? One day will come, this will be the case like this. So what I will do, I will investigate these two batches, or you can say this third batch also. What might have gone wrong into this one? Okay, so the whether the process was not there available, was there any change into my critical process parameters which are governing my quality attributes? Suppose, for example, I have validated my batch that a particular product on compression machine is to be run in between 30 to 50 turret speed. Okay, and what happens at certain pages, maximum number of batches in validation as well as on my normal commercial batches. If suppose the operator runs a batch at 40 plus minus you can say 5 means 35 to 45. But in one of the batches, for example, this is the batch. Suppose he has run a particular batch at extreme speed, maybe 50 boredom. So what will happen? He may not be knowing that what are the implications can happen on my quality attributes with respect to content uniformity or say dissolution or say assay. But when the testing has been done and the data is being collated and it is put into statistical tool through Minitab as a output of control chart, it gives me a picture. And suppose by investigating back to my process, I come to know that in these batches, the operator has run a batch at a high speed. That's why it has impacted on my product assay or you can say content uniformity. So what I will do as the outcome of this, suppose there is no guidance to the operator. Validation says 30 to 50. But at what optimum speed I have to run my compression machine, suppose that guidance is not there. So with the help of this, what I will do, I will set a target. Hey, look, in BMR, batch manufacturing record, you will run or you will give a guidance to operator that the batch has to be run close to 40, which is in line with my initial validation batches, so that this behavior should not reflect or the process may not go or reach to the upper control limit or you can say lower control limit. If suppose that is being implemented, this variation will be minimized and again it will come into the other process behavior of the batches. Got it? So this will help in this aspect to me. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Is it fine?
Yes, yes.
Another example I will quote, suppose for example, if it is possible to you. So this my team has done recently one of the product. Okay. Oh, see, look at this. If my product is behaving within LCL and UCL, which is calculated based on the 3 sigma from the Minitab, and this is my, you can say, specification limit 95 to 105, and my processes, different batches are behaving close to the mean. But what happens? Suddenly my batch, some of the batches are going towards down, but not out of specification, maybe because of some changes or you can say variability. But one of the batch drastically again goes to the extreme, you can say UCL. So this reflected by Minitab itself as a outlier. It will be indicated by some red mark that visually I can guess, are something is gone wrong in this batch. Okay, again the batches, the rest of the batches are coming towards normal. So I will take this batch. I will investigate this batch. And what might have gone wrong, this one I will be investigated and accordingly correct actions will be implemented in that. Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Next. Hello. Further question? Or is it lunchtime? I'm feeling hungry. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, with respect to PAT technology, can you means tell something about multivariant tool?
Oh, that is a very long, you can say topic, and it will take. If required, then I can assist you in some paper documentation. I will provide to your faculty members because it will
Yeah,
a
yeah,
very
okay,
big
sir.
topic. Big
Mhm.
topic.
Yeah, okay, okay, sir. No
Yeah.
problem.
Hello, sir.
Mhm.
Actually, it is not a question, just it's a doubt, I can say. Most of the people says that after joining an academics, that after more years in academics, the industry will close doors for the academic person. So is it true, sir?
See, from that aspects, yeah, it is, you can say, unwritten truth, I can say, the academics which are academicians have gone there. But There are certain, you can say, industries like research organizations, or you can say some of the R&D institutes are there. So what they do, they do prefer both academic experienced people as well as industry experienced people as a blender, mixture of both. So if you are thorough in your academics, for example, in physics or chemistry or pharmacology, so there are doors open. It is not the case that the doors are closed. Doors are open because some of the people who aspired, you can say, academics for 10 years, then they did their, you can say, doctorate, and then they joined in CROs, clinical trial research organizations and all. So it is not the fact. It is the doors are open. But in, you can say, manufacturing aspects point of view, you can say yes, somewhere it is a truth. You can say the people from academic background in manufacturing organizations are being not preferred because here experience counts in the technology. Okay, here experience counts in the systems. For example, the person who is in the manufacturer who joined after academic as an officer, then he gains knowledge into the, you can say, on shop floor, on job, the experience on processes, technologies, and over a period he gets mastery in that. So that's why the people are preferred from the experienced people from that background. And academics, definitely doors are open in the different scenarios, but not on shop floor, core shop floor manufacturing, you can say.
Okay, sir. In relation to that,
In my department, one of my junior is like, you can say, 2 to 3 years he has done lecturership, and then I took him because his communication was good, his writing skill was good. So somewhere in quality system, I need some people who are good enough to write, who are good enough in English, who are good enough in communications. So sometimes case to case, but percentage of, you can say, hiring such people are less, but there is opportunity. If candidate is of that desired quality, definitely doors are open for him.
okay, sir. Thank you, sir. But in relation to this question, I just want to know that if we are thinking of switching between academic to industry, so is there any training program for such a people?
See, training is you can say, backbone of the industry. If you, or you can say, training is a backbone of everywhere now. If you go in shop also, in grocery shop also, the owner itself gives a training first, where the material is being placed. Okay, how it is to be issued, what is the tag, which company it has to give. Suppose I'm just quoting practical example of training. Everest masalas are placed right left side of this rack. Okay, then MTR masalas are placed at this one. So the new person who is joining in the shop as a helper, or you can say as his subordinate, he will not come to know. So training has to be given. So ultimately, it is a pharma industry. If you are coming in a pharma industry, this is the backbone. Unless and until the minimal aspects of training with respect to GMP, with respect to on-job training, with respect to before joining the job, you will be having, or you will be given job-related trainings. Okay, unless you are not understood the concepts of GMP and the need for assigned job for which you are hired, you will not be put on the shop floor. Once you completed this training, you will be given to your department that this person has joined. He has undergone the training of GMP. He has undergone the technical aspects to do job requirement. Then on shop floor or in the department head will assign or give you training on job training. That is called as hand-to-hand training, job training, on job training, that is called as. So if any academics are joining, he will be gone through this phase. He will be driven through this process.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. The session was really informative. Now I would like to request Mrs. Poonam Chaugule ma'am to sum up the today's session.
Hello, I am audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good afternoon, all of you. Thank you, Vijay madam. It is a very great pleasure to me to sum up today's session. I am very thankful to Dr. Bhatia madam and Bharati Vidyapit Kolhapur team for giving me opportunity to summarize this session. Especially thankful to today's eminent speaker, Mr. Sachin Ogle sir, has delivered on topic pharmaceutical quality system, life cycle management. Sir has focused on life cycle management in that industry aspect, regulators, patients by supporting quality assurance and supply of high quality products. Sir also elaborated market value of pharma industry by different stages in the development of medicine. Also, sir enlightens on drug development, regulatory development, commercialization, etc. Sir also explained about evaluation of quality system. Sir told quality product depend on quality system. It is evaluated by quality control and quality assurance. And the quality system is a design and manufacture quality into product. Sir also explained regarding risk based concepts and principles. In that quality system, all things depend on management responsibilities and PQS elements. The PQS elements are process performance, process product quality monitoring, correlation action, change management, etc. Sir also elaborated expectations of quality product as per ICH Q8, Q9 and Q10 and its integration. Also focused on four elements of ICH Q10 as a pharmaceutical development, technology transfer, commercial manufacturing and product discontinuation. Sir also described in detail about quality management system and pharmaceutical quality system. At the last, sir guided on how to achieve success for to how to learn the some new things, acquire knowledge, training new habits, as well as self-actualization, seek advice from gurus as well as mentors. These all are mantras for self-transformation. So all the points of today's session will help us for our future prospect. Thank you so much, respected Sachin Ogle sir, for wonderful session. Thank you one and all.
Thanks for giving me an opportunity to get connected with the academics, because I would like to give brief about that. Initial my career I started with as a lecturer in my college itself, Maharashtra College of Pharmacy, Nilanga. But I was interested in the industry, or you can say I was having zeal towards to do something extra. That's why I joined industry, and hope the prosperous career is up to the mark. So there is a you can say bright future to the pharmacist, especially currently in the pandemic. You have seen pharma as the Indian pharma is nothing but a pharma hub of the world. So that is a pride for us, and we are from the profession which is for noble cause, for safeguarding you can say health of a patient, or you can say people, and we are here to serve the people. The second number, you can say, after the doctorate people. In media, it is not given the importance to the pharmacist, but Honorable Minister Gadkari sir has given once, you might be having one lecture, that we are the industry which are not being focused in the pandemic. What is our role and what is our contribution? So feel proud about that one. We are from the very great profession, and I wish all you best for the, you can say, future pharmacists who are seeking education, either B Pharm or M Pharm, or you can say doctorate also. Hope all the best for you, and thank you for faculty, and especially Bhatia ma'am, because she has connected through my colleague Mr. Dr. Wakure, who is my also you can say classmate, and because of which this happened, and you can say relations can happen and the communication can happen. So this is the platform.
Yeah, absolutely, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for everything, sir.
Yeah. So stay healthy and stay, you can say, safe. Take care of yourself and your beloved ones. And good day. Enjoy your lunch.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, just a request.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Sorry?
We will take a
Thanks
snapshot.
for your time, sir.
Okay.
Anagha, please.
I request all the participants to turn on their cameras to have the photo with our eminent speaker. Once again, on behalf of Bharatiya Vidyapit College of Pharmacy, I, Ms. Vijaya Chaukule, takes this opportunity to thank our eminent speaker for his wonderful presentation and his valuable time. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you and namaste.
Thank you,
Take
sir.
care.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a
Thanks,
lot,
everyone.
sir. Thanks again.
Dear participants, now we'll have lunch break. I request you all to join sharply at 3 p.m. Thank you, everyone.